Today we're going to make some Oreo cheesecake cookies. I got this recipe from my nephew who did me a big favor, and I asked how he wanted to be paid, and he says, "Oh, make me some cheesecake cookies." He found the recipe for me, so I made him some, and my kids love them. I've got 1 block of cream cheese, so just the 8-ounce block, softened to room temperature, and a cup of butter. I'm going to get these going in the mixer because I want them to cream together really well. So we're just going to get this going. I'm going to probably put it up a little bit higher, it'll be a bit noisy, but I'll stop the video, but we're going to let it mix for probably a minute. I'll show you what that looks like, how creamy it looks, and then we'll get all the other ingredients in there. Alright, so this is just mixing for about 30 seconds. I just want to scrape the bottom so that it's all creamy. And we're going to be adding in 1.5 cups of sugar. And I want this creamed together really well, so we'll do this for 30 seconds or so. We just want it nice and creamy. Alright, I'm just going to scrape my sides again before I add my flour. So it's nice and soft and creamy. There are no eggs in here. There's also no baking powder or baking soda. So we're just going to get these basic ingredients. We're going to get this flour mixed in. You want that well combined. Because the last ingredient is going to be Oreo cookies. And I know, putting cookies in cookies, but totally worth it. You're going to love these ones. So normally I would say you could fold in your cookies at the end, but when I cut up my Oreo cookies, I cut them up into about 6 pieces per cookie, so pretty big chunks, just so that I can throw them into the mixer and only mix it for a few seconds because it will break down the cookie quite a bit, and you still want to have some nice chunks of cookie in your dough. So I just want to get the dough off the hook here before I throw in all the cookies, so that it can mix in with that. So we're just going to do a really quick mix, just on low. And that's probably good. What was that, 5 seconds? And we're going to get these ready for on our cookie sheets. So I'll just get my counter cleaned up and we'll be back. Alright, so this recipe originally it called for, so I doubled it. So it would make 24 big cookies. So it's not a very big recipe. But if you want a little bit smaller cookies, so I've got my 1 5/8 cookie scoop, which is my normal cookie scoop size that I like to use. But it makes a fairly small cookie because there are no eggs and baking powder or soda. The cookies don't spread out like normal cookies. So these are going to be, I'll make both sizes so you can see both. So I'm going to make some smalls with my 1 5/8, and I have my 2-inch scoop as well, which I'm going to make big cookies with. So you're going to just scoop those up. You have to make sure you flatten these before we put them in the oven. And by flattening them, you'll get a pretty good idea what size cookie this will be when it's done, because these do not spread out very much at all. So these will be more of a normal size cookie, whereas these ones will be a bit of a smaller cookie. So we're going to bake both up so that you can see the different sizes and just decide yourself how big you want to make your cookies. But definitely flatten them because they don't, without that baking powder or soda, they don't do all that nice flattening like normal cookies. So we're going to bake these at 350 degrees, between 12 and 15 minutes. We want to make sure that they're nice and golden brown on the bottom, then you know they're done. So we're going to get these in the oven. I'll show you what they look like when they come out. Alright, so I've baked the 2 different sizes in the oven. So the big ones, which really look like a normal size cookie, baked for about 16 minutes. So you do want to make sure that they're getting golden on the bottom. The smaller ones were 12 minutes. And you want to take them off of the rack pretty quick and just let them cool completely on the rack. You'll be glad you tried these out. They're so good. I think they're going to make it into our regular rotation of baking around here, because my teenage son especially really loves them. So thanks Stephen for this great recipe. And we've got the recipe down there. I'll show you that one more time. And give these ones a try. They're delicious.